Alright, we got all the parts on the bench to take bushings. We'll do the case bushing last, but 4L60E 700R4s, they all take the exact same bushings in the exact same places, and as far as transmissions go, you know, they're a pretty mild deal when it comes to, you know, complexity of bushings, you know, and level of difficulty, so to speak. Now, if you don't want to spend the, you know, couple $100 or more it's going to take to acquire a complete transmission bushing driver kit that you're going to need to R&R bushings, and I mean, I wouldn't either if I wasn't building transmissions all the time. You could always take your parts down to the machine shop or transmission shop and have them remove and replace the bushings for you for like $100 or so. So there's two bushings here in the stator. There's a rear bushing and a front bushing, and then the pump body takes a bushing. Forward sun gear, you have two bushings of identical size. Intermediate shaft takes two bushings, front bushing and rear bushing. Rear sun gear takes one bushing. Reverse input drum takes a front bushing and a rear bushing. And then there's a bushing here in the extension housing. And then the case takes one bushing. So I'll get my bushing driver set up and we'll go ahead and pull all these old bushings and then we'll press in new ones. So the shift kit has you drill a hole here, 9/32 to 5/16, somewhere in there. I actually use a 1/4 inch, and 1/4 inch is more than sufficient. So we'll do that first, and then we'll go ahead and install a bushing and a seal. Now 4L60E 700R4s really don't have a problem with fluid piling up behind the seal and blowing it out. Early 4L80Es are prone to this, and certain circumstances TH400s, but I've not seen it all that often, in fact hardly ever, in 700R4s 4L60Es. So you want to use a bushing stop so that you can drive the bushing into the correct depth without overshooting it. And I'm just going to put a towel here just to be safe. Just get it in as straight as you can. And then drive it home. And we'll do our seal. Okay, you don't want to be shy when you're driving in these seals. They do like to cock sideways, so just 2 or 3 really good smacks, and that'll seat it. Okay, pump body's done. All right, we'll do the stator next. A couple things to note. So there's two rear bushings that will come in the kit. There's a narrow one and a wide one. You always want to use the wide one. Okay, and you must always replace this bushing no matter what, because if you don't, you'll have issues with inconsistent shifting, pressure loss, all kind of problems. In the 4L60Es, an excessively worn bushing in this location will trigger P1870 component slipping, and you'll find yourself replacing the valve body or doing other things, trying to figure out why the code won't go away. If you run into that situation, suspect this rear bushing in the stator as being the cause. Okay, I'm going to yank out the two bushings that are in there now using this. Zoom out a little bit, using this slide hammer and collet style puller. Let me see if I can find the tool designation for it. It's a Kentmore tool. It's going to be J45548. J45548. These pullers are fairly common on eBay. I mean, I usually see at least 2 or 3 on there at any one given time when I'm looking. Every once in a while I'll get a question about it and I'll take a look, and they'll be on there. And they're not that expensive either. I want to say maybe 30, 40 bucks or something like that, 50 bucks. And I do my best to keep this in the shot. Might be a little tricky. If I can get in behind it. Comes right out. Slide hammer itself is made by a company called Old Forge. It's like a vintage tool made here, made in America. Really nice slide hammer. I bought that off eBay too. I can't remember when, a long time ago. Unlike the Kentmore collet puller, I don't see too many Old Forge tools in general on eBay, or anywhere for that matter. Just make sure you clean out the bores real good. You don't want any crud or anything in there. Also check the surface. Make sure it's not, burred up or something. Make sure there's nothing sticking out. Because if so, then your bushing will get kind of crimped and it'll never slide over the journal or wherever it's supposed to be going. And you'll wonder why. Okay, so here's a front stator bushing. I mean, you can do this like I'm doing it now, or you can do it on the press. I do it both ways. It just I guess it just depends on what I feel like doing. Like any bushing you install, you want to check it. Make sure there won't be any issues. Alright. Now I'll go ahead and install the rear bushing. Again, like anything else, you want to get it as straight as possible. All right. Okay, next up we'll do the forward sun gear. I'm going to take these two bushings out. In case you're wondering, this is Miller MB 990799. This is a great little piece of press tooling. I use it all the time for countless, countless types of jobs, both on and off the press. Put this under here. Alright, for these, I'm actually going to take these to the press. Because, I mean, it's, trying to punch them in, they can very easily cock sideways, so we'll do those in a minute. Okay, reverse input drum. To get at the the front bushing, just take a narrow drift and then kind of just go at it at an angle, collapsing this inward, and then you'll be able to take it right out from there. And there it goes. And then for the rear bushing, you just punch it out in the same position. Do the best you can to not mar up this surface here. I mean, if you get a little bit of a ding here, you know, or anywhere around the perimeter, no big deal. Just take some sandpaper to it, you know, or even a grinder if there's like a, you know, a piece of metal sticking out. Just be real careful, that's all. The main thing is you don't want anything interfering with the bushing going in. All right, I'm gonna switch out the battery and then we'll go ahead and drive these two bushings in. Oops, sorry about that. For this rear bushing, I don't have a interior bushing driver, so I just use a big bushing driver to pound it in flush. Okay, so both pump and reverse drum are done. So to get this bushing out, I'll chuck this up in a vise with soft jaws and I'll use a bushing cutter, and then I'll just go all the way around the perimeter, usually concentrating in one area. And then this will collapse the bushing inward, and then I'll just be able to pry up out on it. So I'm going to do that over on the other bench, and then we'll come back and install the bushings. Okay, we got it out. This one was really stubborn. A lot more effort than they typically do. Alright, so this next one comes out through the bottom. All right. Okay, rear sun gears next. See if I can find the correct bushing driver to remove the bushing. Okay, like the forward sun gear, we're going to do the rear sun gear bushings on the press. If you build a lot of these transmissions, it's a good idea to have a spare slip yoke around. This way you can, among other things, kind of test your bushing. This one probably needs to go in just a little bit more. Don't actually like the way that's fitting. I'll grab another one. same issue. It's in perfectly straight. Alright, I'll have to figure that out. I mean, if I have to, I'll swap the housing, but don't really want to have to do that. Okay, I'm going to install these bushings on the press for the forward and rear sun gear, and then we'll be back and I'll show you those, and then that'll be it. So here's the rear sun gear bushing and forward sun gear bushings. I like to install them just below flush. From the factory, they'll be installed a little bit deeper, but I actually think that the factory installs them a little bit too deep inside the bores, so I prefer to keep them a little bit more shallow based on where they ride on the journal. And we'll test the sun gear bushing for the rear. And then for the extension housing, I actually reinstalled the old bushing. I tried 3 different new bushings and none of them worked. I mean, there's almost no side play. Worst case scenario, if it comes back for a bushing, I mean, that takes all 5 minutes. It's not ideal, and if I can find a solution prior to it going out the door, you know, I'll bring it back and show it to you. But for now, that's going to be in there. I'm not going to install the seal yet, because if I can find something that'll work, either a different housing or just a different bushing that works, then that's what I'll use. Anyway, we're done with bushings, so now we'll go ahead and start with the sub-assemblies. And I like to do the pump first, get that done, and then the drums.